Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, today we're going to go ahead and get started on Ruby's floor pan. Now, there are a lot of sins from the past, maybe not a lot, but quite a few sins from the past that we need to repair. Extra holes, some sort of bolts hanging down, and there's some factory holes that I want to weld up. So that's kind of what we're going to work on today. Just trying to clean up that floor pan on both sides, the inside and outside, so we're that much closer to spraying some epoxy. So let's get Ruby jacked up in the air a little bit, rotate it on her side since we have her on a rotisserie, and kind of knock this out as fast as we can. All right, let's do this in super speed. All right, let's see if we get it high enough. Which way to turn? I think this way. Rolls pretty easy. Just clears the ceiling. Not by much. All right, just like that. Piece of cake. Okay, Ruby looks really nice, super clean, no real damage. There was a little bottom out damage that we fixed a long time ago, months and months ago, but all in all, really good shape. The game plan for today is to fix some of this kind of stuff that was left over. Now, we have these bolts here that you guys may have heard me talk about. They drove in from the top. We got to drive those back out, fix those holes. We've got these big drain holes. I think these are from when the car was manufactured. They dipped it to clean it or something, so those holes were there. So we're going to fill those in. I do have the plates to glue and screw those back in, but I mean, these things are, you know, they just knock that out, and it's kind of janky and jagged. And I want the bottom of Ruby to be nice and smooth and clean. It's going to get a really nice paint job. So I want it as smooth as possible. We'll take care of any, you know, kind of hanging sheet metal and that kind of stuff. It'll take some time. I'll probably be the only one that knows it and sees it and appreciates it, but I'm going to do it anyways because this is a once in a lifetime build. We do have some other stuff on here too. Some, you know, stuff I'll probably do off camera. We got some exhaust muffler clamps or something were welded on. We've got the spots here where I cut the seat belt mounts loose and relocated them here. So, you know, we got a couple of these, and you know, what is that, 7 holes? Yikes. So we got some holes to fill there. I don't know if we'll do a plate or a bunch of little patches, I'm not sure. But we do have 7 of these large holes to do, so we have to come up with a game plan on that. And some grinding of some patches and stuff that I did that, you know, I simply didn't grind that well or at all, like this one. That needs to be ground up, but I'll do a lot of that off camera. I think we should just go ahead and get started on these bolts. They've been bugging me forever. I mean, like 30 years forever. So I want to get those out of there. So let's give that a shot first. Okay, guys, you guys let me know if this thing starts popping through, okay? Hey, that wasn't that bad. That came out pretty good. Lucky I moved the camera over to one side, otherwise I would have hit it. All right, I'm gonna knock the other one out, and then we're gonna figure out how we're gonna patch that hole. Okay, we got a little bit of an eruption. It's kind of low there, so I'm just gonna use the slide hammer with a hook on it, and we're just gonna try to lift up a little bit, tap on this high spot. these low spots out. It's not looking too bad. All right, I'm going to mess with this just a little bit more, and then we're going to cut some patches and get both of these fixed. Okay, we're just going to do this down and dirty. Cut kind of a rough patch here. Nobody's ever going to see it. I just need these holes filled. Alright, just like that, those holes are filled. I've got a couple others from tearing out the seat bracket. I'm going to go ahead and do those while I'm here. I see a gash right there, so I'm going to try to hammer these flat, maybe clamp some copper up underneath there and weld these holes in. We'll bust that out off camera, and then we'll start thinking about these big old holes. We're going to have to come up with some sort of idea on how to patch all those so they look nice and neat. Okay, 25 holes later. Over 25 holes later, Dave came over, gave me a hand. I hammered a lot of this flat that was kind of distorted from removing those seat brackets before. So I got all that taken care of. We got this area right here. Actually, that was 4 holes there, so we're almost 30 holes already. And then I got started on these here. You remember where the seat belt brackets were. So we got those welded in, and I started off with some elaborate thing to, make a patch for each one of these little holes, and I finally said, come on, Mark, don't be stupid, keep it simple. So I just clamped a piece of copper up there and just welded in. Those holes were only 3/8, but the bigger hole in the middle, it required a patch, and I've got one left to do, so we'll knock that out right now. So I just got a piece of copper on the other side with a magnet on each one, so the plug doesn't fall through and I can just hold up against it. So let's go ahead and get that welded in, ground smooth, and then we got to work on these right here. So I got an idea what we're going to do, but let's get this one done first, and then we'll move over to those. Okay, I got a little piece cut here. Get that to balance and stay in there. Maybe. Blowing through there a little bit. The stuff's pretty thin. All right. Just this area, I had to increase my stick out so it wasn't trying to push in so hard. Let's get that sanded up and move on to the big ones. All right, looks good. Good enough for a floor pan. Let's move over. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the car flat, I think, and then we'll figure out those big gigantic ovals. Okay, so here's the hole on the passenger side, right in front of the front seat here. And these screwed down before and glued down, kind of just like this. So I got all 7 of these out and I got them cleaned, and then they were plated, so I threw them some muriatic acid, stripped all the galvanizing off of them, or zinc, and so they're ready to weld on. So I could certainly just glue and screw these back down, but I don't want that. So I want it to be a lot cleaner. I don't like this big jagged lip sticking down. Of course I could trim that, then glue these in, but I think what I want to do is go ahead and weld these in. instead of making a custom patch, I'm going to use these. I think what we can do is leave these the exact same size and just scribe around here and then clamp it, and then I think we'll just try to TIG weld it in, make it the grinding and hammering a lot easier with the TIG welder. The only thing I can't decide is, do I want it to face that way or do I want it to face this way? So a lot of these bumps stick up, and actually with this up, it'll make this a little flatter across here instead of a dip. So I kind of leaning towards facing it up. I don't know. I think that'll work better. Probably look better on the other side too. So let me get set up. I think I'm going to put some Sharpie on here, and then we'll scribe around this, and then we'll have to figure out how we're going to cut this out nice and clean, and then just kind of file it till this fits in here really good. But these are already made up, no reason to make one, and then it has this nice little dimple in it. So I think that's a good game plan. I think that's going to work out good. All right, I got it scribed. I had to trim this plate a little bit because it wasn't sitting in there flat, so I had to cut a little bit. I just took it over to the belt sander, sanded it, gave me an arrow, so I make sure I put it back where it belongs every time. So I got that scribed in there pretty nice. I should be able to see that. Cutting it, I think I'm going to use a little reciprocating saw, a little Harbor Freight job. I got some fresh blades, so it should go pretty easily. This is fairly thin sheet metal. So I'm going to reposition the car, maybe put a little bit of an angle so I can reach in here real nice, and then we'll start cutting, see what happens. Okay, I took the cutoff wheel and just dug it in there to give me a starting spot. Let's see what happens here. All right, I got a light underneath so we can see the gaps, and it's not bad. Got a little wonky over there, and the little part needs to be filed, so that'll sit. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I know it looks like a lot of light coming through there, but it's really, the gaps are super tight. It's looking really good. So it shouldn't be any problem to TIG weld in. Give me a minute to get this all cleaned up so that's right and it's sitting flush. And then we got to figure out how I'm going to hold this to at least get it tacked, because I don't think I have clamps long enough and big enough to reach over here. So yeah, let me get this cleaned up and I'll bring you back. Okay, we got the clamping issue kind of worked out. So I just put a fender washer underneath, and then these washers that barely catch the edge. And it's pretty flush right here, not so much right there, pretty good right here. So what I'm going to do is I think we're going to rotate it up. I'll weld it from the other side, and we'll get tacks right where it's touching. And then we'll just kind of, you know, push on it, pull on it, whatever we need to do. We'll hold it and then tack it and just work our way around instead of trying to, you know, figure out some way of clamping this so it's perfect all the way. We'll take what it gives us and then make it do what we want later. All right, it's just about perfect right here. So I'm going to get a tack right there, and then we're just going to keep moving it around and try to get it tacked all the way so it's pretty flush. It's looking pretty good, but it does need to move out this way. A little dirty right there, blew up, but we got a nice little tack. All right, I'm going to get a razor blade or something so I can pry up on this, and we'll just slowly pull it around and see if we can get this thing tacked up. Okay, I just got a whole lot of this to get this tacked all the way around. So I'll bring you back once I got it tacked, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll get some welding done. Okay, we've got it all tacked up, got it flattened out. Had to resurrect the extendo C-clamp and push it out a little bit, but it's pretty good. I got it cleaned up, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for it and get this welded in. Okay, some of my welds don't look too bad. Oop, that's still hot. I think I had some impurities over here. I need to clean it better, I think. I think the phosphoric acid kind of causes a problem, because when I'm welding steel sheet metal that hasn't been dipped, it doesn't do that. So I need to clean it better probably. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grind this off camera, and I'll bring it back and we'll take a look at it. Okay, came out pretty nice. Pretty happy with that. I did have to weld in a pit here and there. When I started grinding, they showed up, but I think it looks pretty good. Not perfect, but way better than that kind of jaggly thing sticking out the bottom. The only problem is now I got 6 more to go. Of course, the one I don't film, my welds come out pretty darn good. Just getting the hang of it again. I guess I forgot how to do it. So yeah, 5 more to go. I'll bring you back when they're all done, ground, and looking pretty. All right, guys, all 7 are done. All of them. Got all my little remnants down there after being cut off. So they came out really good. The first 2, kind of a learning process, and I got a little bit faster at it, but it's still 7 patch panels welded all the way around. And they came out really nice, though, and I'm really happy the way they look. And it's going to be that much easier to you know, keep the car clean and finish the car underneath and everything else. Each one needed some sheet metal work around each one to make it look good. Not that anybody cares, anybody's going to see but me, but you know, maybe I'll put a mirror under the car when it's done, I don't know. But really happy the way they came out. Certainly worth the effort to get these done. Now there are a couple other holes I'm not going to fill. This is going to get a rubber plug, the matching one down there. And I did do a bunch of holes off camera, even more than when we started. So like these holes right here, you can see right there, that's the old seatbelt mount nut that they welded on. That was spot welded on all 4 corners of the nut. And the only way to get that thing off there was with a small chisel and a hammer and just kind of keep chiseling away at it. And then finally broke it loose. And those were 4 of those. And right here, you can see it was on the 2 for the inboard. And you can see right here that on the inside of the car, I had to get a patch and then weld that. So that was 8 holes, 4 on the inside, 4 on the outside. For a total of, I think I counted like 55 holes we did today. So that is a lot of holes on a car that really wasn't in that bad a shape. So yeah, and I think there's probably still some I'm going to find that I'm going to want to fill in, but I just kind of put my head down and I just kept searching them out and filling them off camera. I just want to get it done, but I'm really happy the way things are going. And yeah, that was so much easier on the rotisserie. I wouldn't have done half of this if the car was just sitting up on the rack. That's for sure. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up this video on filling all the holes in Ruby's floor pan. Well, maybe not all of them, but we got 55 of those things today. It's been a hot, sweaty one today. It's 94, 95 degrees in the shop, and I couldn't, you know, you can't run the fans when you're welding, it blows all the shielding gas away. So it's been a little hot, sticky, nasty day, but we got them all done, or most of them, and I think I'll find 1 or 2 more, but I'll bust those out as I find them. And I'm really happy to get this done. This is one of my biggest steps on the underside of the car, is to get that done so we can move forward with some other stuff. Now the tunnel is still to come. I'm putting a Tremec in the car, and I really don't know what I'm going to do with the tunnel until I get the body back on the chassis with that transmission in there. It's interesting. This car, before I got it, got hacked up a little bit, and there's a big hole right here, and I welded this patch in with a gas torch and some coat hangers and a piece of sheet metal I found laying around. And that was when I was 19 or 20 years old. So it's held up all this time, but eventually we're gonna cut this whole area out and put a new piece in, something that'll fit that transmission really nice, but that'll come. Now the rest of it, I think we're pretty close. I got a little more cleanup to do on the underside, and I think it's just about done, but we'll tackle that on another video. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.